All right, so welcome to the Town of Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, January 14th, 2026. Present is Lizette Enhofer, Joe Crouchy, Cindy Wakeman, Kendra Wingate, Hugh Stein, Bruce Kiefner, John Short, Tim Bishop from the Conservation Department, and Tom Korst from the Conservation Department. All right, so the agenda's going to get blown up a little bit because I just want to say a few things, and then Bruce is going to take over. So I've been doing this for 12 years, and it's a big commitment, and I took it seriously. Out of those 12, it's about 12 years. I think there were 138 meetings I had the opportunity to attend, and I showed up for 137 of them. So, I put in the time, and I get to have this little chat before the end of my last meeting. So, we did a lot of things in the last 12 years. It started off in my second meeting. Dave Carey from the state came in and started talking about an area in Southport, off of Southport Beach, that could be restored with oysters and this and that. So I did a bunch of research. I met Tessa Getchis. We talked about it, put together a huge plan to get a grant and do all this restoration, and that never happened. But we decided we'll do it on our own. We couldn't. It was a deal where we had to put up money to get money, and we weren't going to do that. So we decided to do it on our own, and we started small with shell collection. And Peyton, my daughter right here, she collected one of the first buckets of shell off the beach with Allison Savona's daughter, Piper Savona. So Peyton's got a good connection to the commission here and the project we did. So we started collecting all the shell, and I talked to a bunch of people all over the place, South Carolina, Maryland, Maine, Connecticut, and figured out how to do spat and shell collection. We did that, and we moved on from there, and we started doing spat collectors over in the creek, catching oysters that way, and then we started putting them in grow-out bags, and then we built our own upweller system, put oysters in there. And during all this time, we probably planted caught and grew maybe 1 million oysters. I don't know how many of those got planted, but how many survived, but still, we got a lot of oysters out there. In that other time, we were planting clams. Gary, how many clams did we plant in 12 years?
Quite a few. I can't count them.
We probably planted at least 600,000, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Probably something like that. So put in 50,000 clams a year for the last 12 years. Also in that time, we increased our permit sales from, I think, 75 permits up to an average of about 350 now. The first clam clinic I was involved in, we had 20 people at it. Now we max out the beach. We've had 300 to 400 people show up. They shut the roads and everything to get their free clams. What else? We did a lot of things. We did a lot of restoration. So we collected a lot of shell. We started the first program in the state of collecting shell from restaurants, curing it, and then putting it back in. We did restoration in the Mill River. We did restoration in Sasko Creek. We did restoration back in Pine Creek. We did a lot of restoration over in Ash Creek. Ash Creek's really a big, successful project that we did. And it's still going.
Ash Creek is our nursery.
Yeah. And, we're going to do more restoration in the future, right? But, we did all this stuff. And I'm probably forgetting a million different things. But, it wasn't, just the 7 people on the commission. All these people out here are like the team behind the scenes that's getting a ton of things done. And I'll just go over, who we got out there. Well, first we got Jim Salsi. So when I first got on the commission, I had to get clams in the water, and the chairman, Bob Bellick, he says, call Jim Salsi. He'll do a relay for us. So I don't know Jim, but I call him, and we set up the relay. And he's talking to us, and he's like, you know what? Maybe I better get my brother involved. So Gary shows up. So I get on the boat, we go out on Gary's boat. We catch a lot of clams. In the meantime, Jim is coming around the bend. He comes in with his boat, we transfer all the clams into Jimmy's boat, and then dump them on the beach, Zasco Beach. That was my first relay. And after that, Gary took over the relays. And I don't know Gary. He didn't know me. We were on the boat once. He started doing these relays for us for 5 years, at least, maybe 6 years. No charge. He wouldn't take the money from us, you know. So that was really good, and I didn't ask him for that. And then we got Jimmy Bloom over there, who anytime we ask him for anything, if we need a gift card, we need a basket, we need some shell, we need a boat, he's like, no problem. And Jimmy didn't know me before either, but he did these things. And, you know, they do them because we're active. We're there putting in the time with, you know, they know we're going to do this job right, I think, but also because it's for the town of Fairfield. So, you know, it's really nice of them, and it works out for us. All right, so we'll go to Keelma Steele. He's my new director at my new job, the city of Bridgeport, for the last year. And I asked him to come tonight. I asked all these people to come tonight because, you know, they all mean something to me in my life right now and will in the future. And I just wanted to share this moment with them. But he's allowed me to take off time to do all the Mill River wetland estuary tours. And you know that, right?
I mean, that's what
He does now.
that's what that picture, the picture on the cake
That's the picture.
is John conducting one of the classes.
So I told him about, you know, I'm the chair of the Shellfish Commission, and I do these things, and I might need to do this during the day. And he's like, just take the time you need to do it. And that made it really easier for me the last year and a half, 2 years. But so thank you. Peyton, my daughter here, she hauled shell, lots of shell, right?
Yeah.
How much shell did you haul? A lot of shell.
More than she wanted.
Were there maggots crawling all over that shell? Yeah. She helped haul some of the shell out of the restaurants for a while. And she's been involved in every
Painting?
clam clinic.
Did she paint them?
She paints the shells too. Yes, so Peyton's been heavily involved. Then we got my wife, but I'll get to her later. All right, so my father's here. And I asked him to come to the meeting tonight because he's never been to one of my meetings. And like I said, I've been to about 138 of them, or 137 of them. So he said he'd come tonight for the free cake.
Man.
How old are you now, like 93?
It'll be 94 in another month.
94.
Wow,
Congratulations.
awesome.
He used to dig clams years ago, right? All right, well, let's get over to the conservation department over there. So I've had a few conservation directors. They saved the best for last. Tim Bishop. So Tim does everything we want him to do. It's real easy. He makes it all easy, you know?
Makes it all happen.
Updated everything and streamlined, and it makes the job as a commissioner, I mean, as chairman, it's cake. Like, seriously. It's not tough when you have people like that working alongside you. So we're going to go to Tom Course. So there's one thing that's been consistent throughout the 12 years. And it's Tom Course. He's been here the whole time. He's just as happy as he was the first day. Tom has done every single thing we've asked. Whether it's haul and shell. I remember we got, I don't know how many bushels of shell from Gary that time, all that mulch and everything. Gosh, it had to be a couple thousand bushels, right? Yeah. Tom put all that in. Up by the Mill River there, up by the Tide Mill. But everything, you know, he takes the boat out all the time for us. We got to put clams in. What day do you want it? We got to put shell in. How many guys do you need? And it's just been a pleasure working with you. Thanks, Tom. All right, who else do we got out there? I talked about Gary? A little bit.
Yeah, but how about you? How about all the times you had to get market product because, you know,
Hey, so we'll talk a little. So Gary's one of my good friends now. I met him 12 years ago, and we became pretty good friends, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, If I ask Gary anything, he says, "Why? What do you need?" That's it. And then I've helped Gary out with some things, but he just calls me sometimes. We're on the phone for like an hour and a half, talking about clams, talking about bureau, whatever. But anytime I've had a question, any one of these guys will just answer. They answer the phone or they stop and talk to me, and it's like an hour conversation every time. I go up to the hatchery to help Jimmy out. I volunteer at the hatchery, and we'll stop working and start talking, and then we realize we got to start working. You guys, Jimmy runs the hatchery up in New Haven. Some of you have been on a tour, but maybe when it's all up and running, we'll take another tour. You guys are interested. If that's okay with
I'll
you.
never forget that shell pile.
Shell pile's gonna be bigger, right?
Getting there. We've got about 100,000 bushels up so far.
All right. Jen Carpenter, she's also been a constant. She's been around the whole time.
You've been
Very helpful to
wonderful.
me. All right, so
Thank you.
we got Leah. So Leah's basically an honorary member of the Shellfish Commission. She's done just as much work as me. I mean, she's loaded buckets with shell. She's hauled sleds of shell out into the water. She's picked up the filthy shell at the restaurants. She's worked on all the permits with me. She's worked on every single letter that I've ever done with the Shellfish Commission. What else?
Chowder.
Chowder.
She does the chowder, she does the clinic.
Oh, Leah, you gotta do chowder
So-
for 200 tomorrow.
So,
Okay.
all these people here, what I'm
Special
saying to you is
recipe.
like, it's not just you guys. Put together, get your contacts and show them you actually want to do what you say you're doing, and people will help you, But it takes all this on top of everyone else. Like, there's other people that have been involved, I did not speak here tonight, but it's been good. And so I called you all here to say thank you. You helped me look good. I always tell Gary, you make me look good. You guys all have helped me to succeed. You helped the Fairfield Shellfish Commission to succeed for the last 12 years. And I don't know, maybe they'll keep calling you guys, but we'll see. Bruce is smiling.
Well, I think it's your passion and their passion. They've been doing this for generations. And it's obviously in their DNA, and that's what they do. And when they meet somebody else like you, who you show me how to dig steamers, and you go out and get a bucket of them in 20 minutes, and I try for half an hour and I get 3. You've got a technique.
You got to find that little hole that shoots the water.
But it's really fun to have the enthusiasm, whether or not we're doing spat collectors or any of these sorts of things, and all working together because we like what we do. And that's the fun part of it. The hatchery is like a science fair. It's unbelievable. You got to see it to believe it. And just all of these things, just knowing these people are out there really making things better for everybody. And our number of permits has grown, our number of interest has grown, and it couldn't grow without your support. So thank you. It really means a lot.
We don't want that relationship to stop either.
No.
We work great with John. John did a fantastic job running this Shellfish Commission. I mean, exemplary, compared to all the rest of the commissions. You guys have done, and all you guys, tremendous job in the restoration, especially Ash Creek, and the amount of time and effort you guys, above and beyond what's required of your positions is, you guys should be proud of that. And we want our relationship to continue. We want to work with you guys. We support all your restoration work that you guys do. The public being able to go down and catch clams, that's important to us. So the face of the industry, it's our relationship to the public. So we always support all the recreational projects and restoration work, and we hope we could continue that into the future.
Well, the S-Shore program that John talked about is part of the middle school curriculum. Every single middle school student goes through this program. So we had several hundred middle school kids come over, they're probably over the course of 2 or 3 weeks. And they're intrigued when we show them a spat collector. They're intrigued. I gave one little boy a shell, and you'd think that I had given him a piece of gold. Oh, can I keep it?
Well, it is gold.
Jimmy's got a lot of gold.
All right, I'm gonna finish up. So, yeah, Bruce is right. And speaking of the kids, shoot, yeah, we had 700 kids go through in the spring, 700 in the fall. And then I brought a high school class out for an estuary tour. And then I brought a college class out for an estuary tour. The interesting thing is, I had the 7th graders, I had the seniors in high school, and I had the college kids, and I used all the same props, and they all loved it. So it didn't matter the age. Like, they just went in. I had a tank full of creatures, and they were just going nuts. So it was great. Yeah, so you've all become part of my story, and, you don't get anything for being on the Shellfish Commission. You get some free T-shirts. I think that's it. Oh, if you're the chairman, you get to go to dinner once a year. But you don't get anything. But not all you guys. I got a bunch of friends now, like people that I'll know forever. Tom Corse is a good friend. Gary's a good friend. Jimmy, Guillermo, you're my boss, but you're my friend, kind of, I got my wife, right?
Hope you're friends.
Tim Bishop, we'll probably cross paths down the road, but this is what I got. I got a good group of friends, so I'm going to end it with, and Leah's going to appreciate this. This is the way. All right, Bruce, you got it.
Okay. Well, John, we want to thank you, for your leadership over this period of time. And what we'd like to do, we'd like to begin, Jen would like to begin with some words on behalf of the first selectwoman with Christine,
Oh, yeah,
who's off at the,
They're in a debate tonight, so.
Right, she really wanted to be here, but had a conflict with a debate.
Taking a 15-minute break in that debate.
Yeah, but she wrote something that she asked me to read from First Select Woman Vitale. The town of Fairfield proudly honors and recognizes resident John Short, a longtime active, caring member of the Fairfield community. John has served with distinction on the town Shellfish Commission since 2014. Whereas, as a dedicated member and chair of the Shellfish Commission, John has put in over 100% of his time, energy, and knowledge in support of the commission and its mission to protect shellfish habitats and increase shellfishing opportunities in Fairfield's waters. Whereas John has enhanced the commission in many ways, such as commenting on applications concerning the impacts of proposed docks, piers, dredging, and filling on shellfish habitats and on access to the shellfish, and supporting and creating more habitats through a shellfish restoration program. Whereas under John's outstanding leadership, the Clam Clinic has grown into an annual town tradition loved by people of all ages. Held each June at Sasko Beach, this popular family-friendly event features clamming techniques, local chowder, and live music. Whereas John loves sharing his passion of shellfish with students, teaching future generations. He has taught hundreds of Fairfield Middle School students as part of the Mill River Wetlands Estuary curriculum at Ash Creek. Whereas the town of Fairfield is deeply grateful for John's years of exemplary leadership and dedicated service to the Shellfish Commission, and further appreciates his help in protecting, nurturing, and sustaining shellfish beds now and for the future. Now therefore, I, Christine Vitale, first select person of the town of Fairfield, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, as John Short Day in the town of Fairfield, and encourage all citizens to join her in extending heartfelt appreciation to an exceptional citizen who serves as a role model for us all.
Oh, on that note of the protection,
Awesome.
I haven't issued a commercial permit in 12 years. All right. Bruce, it's all yours.
thank you. Tim, do you have some words that you'd like to say?
My words come in a package. For John, this is on behalf of the department and the commission. You can open it while you're here. It's a little late after Christmas, but
Oh, that's fine.
just wanted to formally thank you for your years of service. Anything I say isn't gonna top what you said already over the decades.
Well, I meant what I
A
said.
little something.
You know?
I'll read it.
Jimmy, guess what? Second half. Me and Jimmy were talking last night.
I'll read it for you. This is what I was gonna say, but you had to open it first.
Oh, okay.
It's a plaque of thanks with the town seal and the commission, the Shellfish Commission's logo. And it says Fairfield Shellfish Commission, Town of Fairfield, Connecticut, presented to John C. Short Jr., Commissioner 2014 to 2025, Secretary 2014, Vice Chair 2015, Chairman 2016 to 2025. In most grateful appreciation of your outstanding and principled leadership and public service as an 11 and a half year member of the Fairfield Shellfish Commission, where you served as Secretary, Vice Chairman, and Chairman, your tireless efforts to promote and advance and uphold the Fairfield Shellfish Management Plan to guide the beneficial use and conservation of our beautiful and historic shellfish beds, dedicated today's date, January 14th, 2026.
Thank you. Nice, thank you.
Nicer than mine, John. Much nicer.
All right. Yeah. Sean, we got you, made you a little picture here.
Really?
And we got to use the phrase, "The world is your oyster," because you are that phrase. And I made you pose, but you know what?
That's me.
The pose was awesome.
That's great, thank you.
So thank you from the Fairfield Shellfish Commission. Sean
Thank you,
served for
everybody.
the last 5 years, and he's a busy man learning how to fly, building a house in Maine. And but Sean, he also hauled a lot of shell, right? He knows what it's like to dump those buckets off the side, fill them up, all that stuff.
Appreciate your leadership, John.
Okay, now it's time to eat cake, because we got a lot of it.
All right.
So,
You guys all want cake?
Sure, yeah.
so we have a special night for the cake.
That's gonna take a while.
Clam cake?
That's great.
Clam bake?
Fairfield Shellfish Commission, Chapter 2. We have gone through the new business. The only item on it that I would like to mention, so we can finish it all up, is to talk about the gathering of the shellfish. Who, aside from Joe and Kendra and myself, is anybody else planning to go to the gathering of the shellfish on the 24th of January?
The New Haven thing?
Yes,
Yeah, I'll go.
okay.
I'll have to double check, but I think I'll go.
Okay, so I've sent out a link,
I saw it.
so please register and reconfirm with me that you're going, because then we'll get a check from the town, for the $35.
I haven't gotten any emails. I've been, so I switched, I got a new phone and my emails are set up a little bit differently, but I didn't get them, I got the minutes today.
Okay,
So I'm gonna have to put our heads together and figure out where it's not going through.
Because, because I went back to Alex today and mentioned specifically this, because I thought I sent it to you last night.
I didn't get anything. I got two emails from Alex today
Okay,
confirming, so that's good.
okay,
But anything previous, I'll go through that with you another time.
okay,
I'm waiting to see if I have to be with my mother that day,
okay,
because I take care of her usually every Saturday, so it's my, kind of my day,
okay.
so.
Well, that,
It all depends on whether
I'm
the sister
not
can,
coercing anybody, I just,
Yep.
sort of a head count. Okay, so you'll get back to me and then we'll go from there. Okay, so that's all the new business. Let's get back into a regular routine of approval of the draft meeting minutes. Have you all had a chance to see the Shellfish Committee minutes for the draft for December 10th, 2025?
Yes.
That's the special meeting?
No, this is,
Okay.
this is the regular meeting.
I've read it, I've read through it. It doesn't look like there's any errors as far as I could see. Would you like me to make a motion?
Anybody else have any thoughts, positive or negative?
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's done. Now, on to the special meeting, same thing. That was short and sweet. That's where we approved the new rates. We didn't approve the new rates, we actually talked about them. The new rates were voted on at the regular meeting. Any changes on that? Correction?
None from me.
No.
Is there a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
A second?
I'll second.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approved, okay. Minutes, done. Committee reports, relay and planting, I think there's no report.
No.
Water and habitat quality, Cindy, what are your thoughts there?
Actually, can Lissa take that, and then I will take the next.
Okay,
You have your paperwork already ready.
Yep. We were open the whole month of December. So for the year, we were open for 332 days and we were closed for 33.
pretty good.
Yep, it was a good year.
And we did get rain, but not enough to close us down.
Right, because we moved up to that 1.5
Yeah.
marker. We had a huge difference, I think, as far as being forced to close.
How about, let's moving on to permits and access, Cindy?
Okay, so for 2025 permits issued, we have 172 residents, 157 seniors, and 22 non-residents. So that gives us $5,890. Permit applications received via email is 80, and online applications is 270.
So we had a total of 351.
Oh, sorry, yes,
Yes.
351.
You know, what's interesting about that is that, I don't know why, but it jumped last month, which is kind of interesting. I don't know whether those were permits for 26, but the permits run on an annual basis. But needless to say, we sold 351. Good. Now, how about Southport Beach reopening? I think there's
There's no word on that yet.
no report. Commercial, no report. Oyster bed development. Any report? No. Hugh or Kendra?
No report.
Communications. Kendra. You're working on a newsletter, is that correct?
Yeah, I wrote it last week and sent it to John and it was approved.
Okay,
But then I asked a couple times where whomever has the constant contact, so that was the
okay, so
block.
what we'll have to do is we'll have to work on getting, we have a database that was, the conservation can provide us, I believe, of all 351 permit holders. So we have 351 addresses, and we can use that as a starting point.
Yes,
We can
perfect.
also work into getting into constant contact, but if we have that group and we want to send out a notice to them, we got it. And we know that they're interested because they've spent money.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's written and ready to go. And also, the followers for the social media, I've been trying to get it up to 1,000 and we're over 900, so we're getting close. And then the views that we've been getting on the social media is, has been anywhere from like 1.2, 1.4 thousand a month. So it's been good uptick. It's good.
On the newsletter, if you go onto the website and you go back and you kind of fiddle around a little bit, but if you go back into documents, you will find all sorts of historical information, which includes newsletters. So if you look at that newsletter, and it's a one-page deal, Lizette and can probably remember what it looks
What
like.
Deb used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It often had a word maze at the bottom, but it would be a nice thing to sort of say, hey, I want to use this as a tool and copy it, because not that anybody has seen it before. And you could actually probably go in there and look at some of the old news stories and put them in again.
Yeah.
Because
For interest.
because they have current value as well. But so take a look at that, because it gives you some continuity and it also gives you some structure. So that would be a good thing to look at.
Okay, great.
Moving on from communications to upwellers. The upwellers are sleeping for the winter. For the Conservation Department, our Shellfish fund balance is $33,195.40. Permits, as of the end of the year, 351. Closure periods for December, as was mentioned, we had no days closed in December. And budget hasn't changed. And we got 2.19 inches of rain, but none of those were more than 1.5 inches. So, as Lizette pointed out, it didn't trigger the closure. We have, moving on to old business, we've got two dock permits. And Joe and I and John were down at the Pine Creek area looking at both of those. And one of them seems to be no problem. The other one, the Masood one, seems to be somewhat problematic.
Is that the one that was further down in?
That's, way up,
The way, yeah.
and that they want it for kayaking.
Yes.
In discussions that we had, John and I and Tim, just a few minutes ago, we don't think it's a great precedent to start putting docks in there. And also, given the fact that the dump borders there, or used to border there, so there's a lot of not so nice stuff in the ground, and disturbing it by pile driving doesn't seem to be a great idea. Reality, however, is that it's really hard for us to say that it's going to be harmful to oyster beds, because there really aren't very many oysters around there. And by the time it came out, we can say that we don't think it's a good precedent, and we don't think that it's good given in light of the previous dump activities there. But in terms of having hard evidence to say no, Tim didn't think that, would really go very far, but
Okay.
we will comment accordingly. So that's how we're gonna, and the other one, the Hagen one, is not a problem. can ask them probably to put some shell in. So that's it for those. Again, just reiterating our goals for next year. The commercial shellfish regulations, we talked about this, John and I and Joe today. The problem is that we don't really have any suitable areas for commercial shellfishing that would make it worthwhile for commercial shell fishermen. And the revenue would be negligible for us. And we don't have, if we tell people they can get it might be $2,000 or $3,000 in a year, but we don't have any way of policing it. If we say somebody can take 20 bushels,
Exactly.
who's going to be the bushel cop? Who's gonna get down there and go, oh, Bruce, you gotta get down there and count bushels. Oh, no, it's Hugh's day. Hugh is gonna get down there and count. Oh, no, you've got 21 bushels, put one back, this kind of thing. And the amount of money that they'd be willing to pay would be, wouldn't be practical. And our big concern is that people would go up there and not follow the rules. And
Right, we're not like
Hey.
Westport. Westport has, they have
a
police
lot
that,
of space.
well, and they have police that they pay the police department to have boats out checking permits and doing all of that, which we don't have.
No.
And that makes it harder.
And they've got a lot more space too.
They do.
So, we've got Ash Creek, which is our nursery, and you go down there and the oyster islands are spectacular because of all the shell we put down there. But we don't want anybody in there, 'cause that's our farm, and we don't want anybody in obviously Sasko Beach because that's our market.
Yeah. That's all right.
And there's very little other place. We don't want people in Southport Harbor. There are too many boats there and everything else.
I think we're all pretty much unanimous in the fact that we're not We're not equipped, we don't have the staff, we don't have the policing. It's just not a good idea overall.
Right.
So we're good on that.
And some of the guys whom we talked to who appeared before us before requesting commercial shell fishing they're well-meaning guys, but they're desperate. And they're the same ones that got
There's some issues.
in trouble, after not one or two, but 3 warnings for illegal harvesting. And
We don't need that.
No.
that's not what we want to get into.
No.
I'll have to talk to John about alternates. He's talked to the RTM about alternates, and the alternates would be non-voting, but basically sort of a feeder, and get people to be familiar with the organization so that they could participate and maybe in the future become a commissioner. The newsletter, we're working on junior commissioners. We're talking about, Tim was talking to me earlier about some Boy Scouts possibly being involved.
That fellow was trying to get on. Did you see, that's who, at one time, there was a fellow trying to get on, Paul O'Brien. We saw the name up there.
Yeah.
That's who was talking about.
So we need to get back in touch with
Yeah.
Paul O'Brien. So he's involved with the Sea Scouts and Boy Scouts. And I know in the past there was some issues with insurance with Sea Scouts, but I'm not sure. But I've talked to the guys in Southport who run the Sea Scout ship, whatever number it is. And I don't know whether or not they'd be interested in doing this or not,
I could follow up. I'm a friend of Paul O'Brien's.
Okay,
So if you
Oh,
want, if the
yeah.
commission wants, I could follow up with him a little bit more and report back to you fellows and.
that would be terrific. And that sort of follows with, junior commissioners. And then that sort of segues into Mill River wetlands. I mean, if you've been there with all of those kids, and certainly not all of them, But some of them are really, really, really intrigued. Some of them don't want to be there, but if you have hundreds of kids, you're not going to get everybody for sure. But I think that we need to form an education committee of either amongst ourselves or with others who can be teachers or instructors for this, because it's a huge time commitment. It's probably 20 hours of, quote, classroom time. It's a lot of time. I also would like to get the Mill River Wetlands volunteer group to train some of them too, so that if we were doing it, but they could be our subs if we needed a substitute. But all of the things they do with the shell, putting the shell out, and, looking at the spat collectors and all of this, these kids love it. They really love it. And so, I think, I think that's a good way to spread the word, because if we get 10%, if we get 5% who go home and tell their folks, like, oh, this is really cool. One little boy I gave a shell to, and he was thrilled. I remember one little girl, had a hermit crab, and some little boy came up to her and said, oh, look at my hermit crab. And she was a young, attractive, blonde girl with long fingernails, and she said, no, get away. That's my hermit crab. Go get your own. But they really, the kids that you wouldn't think would want to put their hands in the water are pushing others away. So they really do like it.
Well, for them, it kind of comes back to their big program that they do in second grade is the marshes, and they study that. They used to have the saltwater tanks in the classrooms, which have a lot of these items. So for them, it's kind of going full circle and back to that.
Yeah.
Which I think they probably like.
Grandkids who went through with nursery school when the horseshoe crabs come up in June to mate.
Yeah, count them.
There's a woman who's a volunteer, and she does an excellent job explaining all this to the kids. So
Yeah.
You're right. So it's kind of gone through the whole. They've been introduced to this at
Yeah,
an
but that's
early
like
age.
that's the curriculum in second grade is the saltwater marshes.
And I think it's intriguing that this is part of the Fairfield Education school curriculum. This isn't some little science trip to the side. Every seventh grader in the town of Fairfield. I asked my grandson who's 7th, oh, did you do that? Yeah, I think so. It's like, okay.
So I've actually volunteered with the Mill River Wetland Committee, not past 5th grade because it was just too much conflict with my schedule.
Yeah.
I had wanted to volunteer last year, but time constraints at my job it wasn't possible.
Yeah.
So can we find out from Mill River, get more information about when training is, when all that, and figure out a way that we can see if we're able to
Piggyback
do it.
in to kind of work in when they do their other trainings.
Yes.
Because they do formal trainings for the parents, the volunteers, and things like that. They have a whole training program
Okay.
already set up. So can we piggyback onto that?
And
And
train, and Kendra and Hugh and myself, in fact, because, it's a number of repeat performances. You might do 10 in a day or more. So after you said it so many times and you sort of say it a little bit differently each time, but, if Kendra or Hugh or whoever, or my standing there listening to John, after a while you go, I think I know that, when the water, after 7 to 10 days, the spat falls down and goes to the bottom and goes onto something like a rock or whatever. If it goes on sand, it dies, et cetera, et cetera. So you sort of learn the script just by auditing it. And then then the idea is, I mean, for instance, when you and I were doing it, you said, well, I'll take a stab at it. So, take the next group, and everybody's got your back. So they go, what the hell was it? Oh, and you prompt them, and you work through it. But to your point, if we could, train these people, and some of the Mill River wetlands people, I think they'd like it, and it would be helpful for us. I'll find out from them when the training is and when the sessions are the regular sessions are gonna be, so. So,
So we'll revisit that.
yeah, relay and market buys, is really cool, because we met Gary and Jim tonight, and those are the folks whom we do the relays with and, or do the market buys. Jim, we get shell from, but we don't buy clams from, he's primarily oysters.
Right, I think there's a talk about him helping us with oysters for the upwellers.
Right. And they're really, they want to work with us because they see that we're committed, because they're certainly committed. Their family's been doing this for generations. I mean, so, and so we'll figure out the relay and market buys as we get closer. The clam clinic is in June. We'll, promote that as we get closer, but that's a long time away. And that's,
The way you have the date here for the clam clinic is helpful. Is there a way we can just put target dates for the other items?
sure.
Because I'm not sure what comes in which order. Market buys, are we talking May-ish?
That's predicated on water temperature and tide.
Okay.
In other words, you have to have a certain water temperature, and then you have to have a high tide towards midday so that they can come in. With the relay, they go out and they harvest or scoop up clams offshore. They bring them, they put them in bags, and then they relocate them or drop them in the water off Sasko Beach. The thing is that you can't come onto Sasko Beach at a low tide. You've got to do it at high tide. So you've got to look.
And then it has to close. After a relay, we have to close the beds.
For
So
2 weeks.
when do you like to do it,
So
with your experience?
it's dependent on the weather,
Temperature-wise,
I
what's,
think it has to be above
Roughly
50.
what month?
I think it has to be above 54.
So it's,
But
yeah,
it's above 54, but
it's in the 50s.
so what we've done sometimes in the past is before like the clinic, we've done a market buy. If we don't have those tides and what we need to do a relay, and then shut down for a period of time, and then they have to be tested before we can open the beds again. Where with a market buy, they can put the clams down on Friday, and we have our clinic the next day.
So that's
you don't
what-
have that same. You don't have the same conflict.
The market buy, you're buying marketable clams. In other words, you could go to
Dump
Gary.
and go.
what's the cost in that?
Usually, I think we approve usually 1,500 to 2,000.
I mean, the cost is, you may spend the same amount of money on a market buy, but you'll probably get, if you do a relay, probably 10 times as many clams. So, it's a lot more product for the same price, but it has their clams ready to eat, so to speak. I mean, the ones that Gary brings, you could take home and eat.
And that's probably what what the permits are paying for. Is that when they're going to come out, they're going to.
Right.
And how much lead time do you have to give Gary for a market buy? I was just curious. So, I mean, it sounds like if you give him,
I think
and he says
for
he'll put
market
him
buy, I think
down.
John
I mean, you have to give them a week? I mean, that's kind of what I.
That's a good question.
I think.
Kind of the details we need.
John,
No, we're gonna work this out with John, but you've got to look at
I think it's a couple
overall what
weeks.
the temperature is, then you have to look at the weather forecast. You know,
Right.
is it favorable? Is it gonna be really,
So what we've done in the past, so we've done the market buy, had our clinic, and then shortly after that, we've done a relay. So then when you come around then, you know, like mid-July, we're shut down because we've done a relay. Which then restocks us for like August and like Labor Day weekend. Does that make sense?
Sure.
It really all just depends on the tides and the weather. And it used to be harder because we used to have to shut down with the 1 inch of rain. And we upped it to 1.5 inches. And that's made a big difference on closures. That makes it,
and
we have that going against us also.
And it depends upon the activity. If you've got a lot of really good weather and people are out there a lot, and you know, fortunately or unfortunately, you got some people that are down there all the time, and then you got some people that are, no question, abusers who
Absolutely.
go down there and take bushels of clean.
Because they know that there's, you know, they've been doing it long enough to know that no one's really checking.
All right.
Okay,
I know some of us got to go, but when are the wetlands, when do you like to target that?
well, I believe that's going to be,
They
it
said
used to be
that.
in the spring, but they moved, I think, to the fall.
I
But
don't know.
but we'll find that.
We don't choose that time.
Okay.
That's being chosen by them.
Gotcha.
One thing we noticed is, so in our committee reports, we had the Southport Beach reopening, and we had discussed at the last meeting having that taken off the agenda. That was one of the things we had discussed.
Okay,
Just-
right.
It's still here, but we had discussed taking that off since there's nothing
It's not-
happening. Yeah.
Good point, thank you.
And I did look, and it is in the minutes from the last meeting. It just wasn't taken off.
Okay, we will,
That's good.
I will, I'll tell Alex tomorrow, sorry.
good, we'll put a PS, a reminder.
So
Okay,
that's it for that.
any other new business, old business?
No.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, good job.
It was fun.
Stay.